We live in an age where a confession can travel faster than a heartbeat, where a private ache can spill into the internet before we even know why we typed it. Why does oversharing online feel less like a choice and more like a reflex, older than the screens we press our faces against? Once, we shared in circles of firelight and crowded tables. We spoke in low voices, passed stories hand to hand, pain to palm, eye to eye. Now our campfire is a glowing rectangle. The room is gone, the faces are gone, but the instinct remains. See me, hear me, understand me. When we talk about ourselves, the brain rewards us. Bursts of dopamine flicker, a notification, a like, a same. It feels like warmth, like welcome, and slowly, invisibly, a confusion begins to grow. If it feels this good, this immediate, then openness must equal connection, right? This is where the psychological roots of oversharing begin to take shape. To understand what oversharing online does to us later, we first have to understand why it feels so natural. If understanding the roots of oversharing online explains how it begins, the next question is quieter and sharper. Why does it keep going? Why do we return to the screen like waves to the shore, again and again, even when it hurts? Because most of the time, we're not chasing fame, we're chasing a faint echo. We post a raw thought and wait for that small, sacred word, same. A stranger's agreement becomes a mirror, a bandage, a brief proof that our pain is not an alien language. But there is another force at work. Algorithms sit like invisible directors, rewarding every surge of emotion. More drama, more reach. More heartbreak, more eyes. The louder the feeling, the further it travels. So we start acting our emotions instead of actually feeling them, performing sadness, curating anger, packaging vulnerability. Slowly, almost tenderly, this becomes a loop. Share, receive, repeat. The overshare online turns into a habit written into our nervous system, one we barely notice and rarely question, until much later. If the first loop of overshare online is about seeking resonance, the second is more raw, more intimate. It's about relief. You feel a feeling that's too big for your chest, too loud for your room, too heavy for one heartbeat. What do you do with it? You pour it into a post. You let it spill into captions and comments, into timelines and threads. For a moment it works. The pressure drops, the mind exhales, the pain finally has somewhere to go. But here is the quiet cruelty. What leaves your body does not leave the internet. The emotion passes, yet the imprint stays. A moment of bleeding becomes a permanent stain, a fixed fragment of you that anyone can replay, reframe, reuse. Every time we hit post, there is an unspoken contract. I am giving you this truth. Please acknowledge me, not just see it, not just scroll past it, but meet it. Understand it. Hold it. That's the difference between an audience and a witness. An audience watches, a witness stays. And the more we confuse the two, the more oversharing online shapes not only how we feel, but how we begin to lose ourselves in public. By the time overshare online becomes a coping habit, something subtler begins to shift under the surface. Our boundaries. Maybe you felt it. Moments that once felt sacred now seem wasteful if they aren't documented. A quiet walk, a private cry, a small victory. Suddenly, they feel incomplete, without a caption, a story, a share. We live in a culture where emotional transparency is praised and privacy feels outdated. If you don't show it, did you really feel it? If you don't post it, did it really happen? Bit by bit, the self is traded for a public version, polished, stretched, always on display. Identity starts to lean on numbers. Who I am becomes what they comment. Worth turns into views and metrics, into the rise and fall of attention. We stop living to live. We start living to post. We narrate instead of inhabit. We pose instead of exist. Soon our emotional weather ties itself to interaction. A response, we're lifted. Silence, we're shaken. Criticism, we're cut. High, low, numb, inner climate tossed by notifications. This is where Overshare Online stops being a behavior and starts becoming a place we live. So what do we do with all of this? If Overshare Online has become a place we live, how do we walk out of the glass house without shattering it? The answer isn't silence, and it isn't exposure. It's something quieter. Sharing on purpose, not on impulse. Before you post, ask yourself, am I sharing this to connect or to be comforted? To meet another human or to fill a hole? One comes from fullness, one comes from fear. One nourishes you, one drains you. Pausing for that question begins to loosen the loop. Healthy sharing starts after the storm, not in the middle of it. Feel first, process first, make sense first, and then, if it still matters, choose what to reveal. Private reflection, private grief, private joy. These are not empty spaces, they are roots. Privacy is the soil that nourishes authenticity, the dark, quiet ground where your real self learns to breathe without an audience. Some stories are meant for a friend, a notebook, a therapist. Some are meant for no one but you. Strangely, the more you keep sacred, the more you belong to yourself first, and then to the few relationships that can hold the parts of you no audience ever will. If any part of this felt like looking into a mirror, don't rush past it. Sit with it. Let it breathe. Then, if you'd like to keep walking this path together, leave a trace. A comment, a story, even just a quiet, I'm here. Think of it as adding one more candle to this small circle of light. And if you want a reminder to return, you know where the subscribe button lives, waiting on the porch of your screen.